Hey, all right, here, I'll sit on the mic. What's going on, you guys?
Hey, we're all out of order, I think, but that's
Coming
fine.
in hot.
Yeah.
For some reason, we waited way over there, so we had a huge amount of distance to cover.
Yeah.
That's why you saw that run and jump.
Yeah, you almost overshot the stage.
That was all that adrenaline we just had.
Yeah, exactly.
Angst up this morning.
Yeah.
You know, so
I
hope
had
that
a
was a good
dry
entrance.
run yesterday, so I didn't trip on the stairs coming up. So,
But you swung around the pole. There's a pole back there, or there was.
have you seen me pole dancing?
I have not today.
Oh yeah, last night was a whole show here. They had the
Oh my
pole going.
goodness.
Oh, you missed
Did y'all do the burlesque show?
Yeah, did anyone here go to the burlesque show last night? Was it fun? Did you enjoy it? We can bring the pole back out here and do
of
a live
course.
action version right here if you want
That's
to.
okay.
This one has the moves.
Yeah,
Oh God,
Najee got the
no.
moves.
No, I'm a little rusty. I'm a little rusty now. I don't know. Too much swinging around. Too much swinging. It's been bad. It's been bad. How you guys doing though? Everyone's all right? Yeah, Ohio. Yeah.
OH.
I
There you go. Well, welcome,
you
guys.
go.
Thank you so much for being here, of course. How's your weekend been so far? Let me open with that.
Great.
been
I didn't know
great.
that if you yell OH, people will respond.
Here, try it. It's fun.
OH. I heard someone do that in the airport, and I thought they were insane. So now I know. I was like, do they all know each other? So,
Okay. LM. LMN. There you go. Yeah.
Wow.
The alphabet. There we go.
Okay, so let's try one more time.
He's from Alphabet City in New York.
LM. Okay, never mind.
We should stop.
Never mind. Moving on.
We should stop. We should be put down.
No, it is really fun to do. I remember that same thing. I heard it in the airplane one time, and I was like, what happened, you know?
Yeah.
But now every time I come here, I love doing it. It's really cool. You get to connect with the people of Ohio. And it's a really great city and awesome people here. It's really fun. So thank you guys for being here. Of course, we're here for video game voice acting, and we're going to talk about a lot of wonderful things that you guys have done in the industry, of course. Like I said earlier in your intro, voicing some of the most iconic games and characters in the industry. But first I got to ask, because I'm a gamer, is anyone here also a gamer? Do you guys actually play video games?
Hell yeah.
Yeah? What are you into?
I mean, you got Dark Souls is my anything Souls is my like jam. It's to the point where it's like I feel like I'm like that guy like knocking on people's doors like, have you heard about our Lord and Savior Dark Souls? Where I've just like Bloodborne, Elden Ring, even Lies of P is one of my favorite things of all time. So which is funny because I feel like I don't game a lot. I just game the hardest things I can.
Yeah.
And then like Breath of the Wild and
Of
Hollow
course.
Knight.
Yeah.
But sorry, I didn't mean to just jump right in. But
No,
yeah.
that's fine, please.
You're such a mic hog.
That's what they call me. Mike Hogg is my name in Texas. They go, Mike Hogg's back.
That's his gamer tag.
That's my gamer
gosh.
tag. Mike Hogg's here.
Well, okay, the last game I played was Pong.
Nice. I love retro games.
So
That's
I
what's
have
up.
never played a single game of mine, but I've learned when you don't know your own product and someone says, oh, what was your favorite part of the... I go, well, what was your favorite part? And they tell me, and I go, wow, this is really crazy. That's my favorite part, too. I've been invited to a show in September. They wanted it to be a Metal Gear thing.
Yes.
But David Hayter isn't available. And I went, there is no way I can even talk for 3 minutes on the game because I've never played it. And they go, well, you know when the fox died and the thing and the thing, and I go, I can't do it. I can't do it. So I'm stressed.
All right.
Have him phone in.
Exactly. Just put them on Zoom.
Yeah.
I am terrible at video games. I do play them. I'm terrible at them, and because I have small children at the moment, my PlayStation has like 8 games backed up that I will hopefully get to before PlayStations are all virtual and implanted in our heads.
Yeah.
But I have them. I tend to like. Because I'm terrible at them, I tend to like the ones that have like puzzles and things as part of them. So like, I love the Uncharted series because you get to actually like, play, and then you hit a puzzle that you actually have to solve.
Do you like Shoots and Ladders and Candyland?
You don't know how often I play Shoots and Ladders in Candyland. I have a 2, 4, and a 6-year-old. That is the game that we play. And it'll be like, well, I'm sick of Candyland. Let's play Shoots and Ladders. I'm like, it is the same game. It is the same game. So yes, like I love playing them. I am just really bad at them. And my wife, who also is a voice actor and does games, is the same. And so people have suggested to us, and I think when we have a little more time, we're going to do a Twitch of us playing our own games badly.
Let me know when that happens.
You
I
should
wanna
totally
watch
do it.
this.
Yeah,
I
it's
wanna
just,
see
it's just
this.
going to be us getting destroyed in our own games and probably going on to like Call of Duty and then sort of doing them in character and then having, you know, like an 11-year-old scream at us that we're terrible and we don't sound anything
You
like
have to
the
go
characters.
online. You have to go online.
Yeah,
one
it's gonna be
time.
great.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Just-
You'd be a perfect guest on my YouTube channel. It says the exact same thing. I love games, but I'm terrible, and that's the whole theme of the channel is how
Yeah.
I suck at video games. So you should definitely do it, especially and do the voices as you play. That'll be hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, like, Rachel's
Being
favorite
defeated.
story is that she was the lead in Black Ops 3, and at the premiere, they had a bunch of TVs set up with games to play, and she couldn't get out of the armory. She couldn't open the door to get out of the armory because it says like hit X, but you have to hit X and hold it until the ring goes round. And she's like, I was hitting X for like 2 minutes, and then I just sort of put it down and walked away because I was embarrassed. And I'm like, that.
And
I
I am
wanna see this.
panicking for her. I'm starting to sweat when I think about that.
Yeah. So I love them. I'm just real bad.
Nice.
I want to see you there like, God damn it. God damn it. Just the whole time, your frustrated voice as you narrate.
There's
like,
so much more swearing than that.
yeah, I know there
There's
is.
so much more
We're
swearing.
being
than that.
PG. There's people in onesies. Sorry.
No, it's good. And I guess Najee, you're the only one who hasn't answered yet.
Oh
Gamer.
man, I'm one of those guys where it's like, if I know how something is made, it just takes away from the joy of playing it or watching it. So I turned my TV off when I was like 15. That's super young now, you know, because I know how the commercials, movies, TV shows are made, so I can't watch it, the same. It's like, oh, it's a fake plane. That's CGI, or okay, I wonder how they did that. That looks like a great bodysuit, So it's hard. And then with games, it's like, once, we've been so engulfed into our characters, into our stories, where, like I said, we have so many elements of surprise that we want you all to see and know that we have in there. So for us, it's like we know what to expect. So it's hard, man. Really is hard. It's like,
Come to think of it, that's probably why I have no answers for Metal Gear, what he said.
It's crazy.
I know too much about it. That's
Yeah.
why I don't know anything.
Yeah, it's like I know
I
literally
steal
what
that?
happened next.
Can I
Yeah.
steal your
I was gonna
line?
piggyback off you. That's why I didn't want to say the same thing. I was like, I'll put it over to Matthew real quick. I was like, over to Matthew because I got the same thing to say.
I do. I feel like for certain things, I'm like, oh, that's the day I passed out because the air conditioning wasn't working and I was wearing spandex and Sony, and I was because that's
Okay,
a
back
thing.
up.
Wait,
That,
so you wear
that wasn't
spandex?
that wasn't for a game.
No,
by
no,
the
no,
way.
not for a game at
Sony.
all. I just showed up in a full spandex
Nice.
outfit. I went, surprise!
There's spandex. He was like, hold on, what?
Hold on, and then I passed
Kind of like
out.
Flashdance kind of look with the
Yeah,
off
you
of
know.
one shoulder.
Have you not worn a mocap suit? They put you in a real itchy spandex suit, and there's
Nice.
no secrets.
You have never
anymore.
been in a mocap.
That is what you look like. It's like those TSA things where you put your hands above your head and they get a scan of your body. It's like, that's what your shape is.
But then on top of that, they have to make it fit, like literally fit every ligament bone of your body. So they have to make it a size smaller than your normal size. So you're walking around with high waters. You're walking around with literally the suit coming up to like your wrist, and it's just, you can't even sit down regularly. You can't go to the bathroom. You can't do a lot of things.
So
in that
when
suit.
y'all are doing mocap, then are you having to have learned your lines?
oh yeah.
See,
Because
That's a great question. That's a great question.
Once
Is there
you
like
put
a
the suit on,
teleprompter, or is there a? How
I've
do they
been
do
doing
that?
this for 40 years, and the last time I had to learn a line was probably 1847. I can't memorize. In fact, there was a something where they wanted me to do it. I went, I can't learn lines anymore. And they went, well, just take the script home and just think about it. So I take the script home, and like one does, or at least I used to do when I was an actor, you go the script, and you go, so you cover it up, and I go, nope, that's not the line. Cover it up. Nope, that's not the line. So I gave him back the script. I was literally like panicking at the thought of having to learn a line.
this for metal.
Yeah.
So Chris Zimmerman.
Yes.
Yes, that's my mom. That's my mama, Chris.
Oh, she is
got it
the most amazing gal.
Yeah, she every Metal
That's
Gear.
one
she
of
was
our
telling me.
directors, cartoons, games.
Chris Zimmerman, we love you so
Everything.
much. They don't get enough shine.
Love you,
but
Chris.
Our video game directors and our voice directors are everything that make what we do, easier for us to portray that role for you all. So shout out to Chris Zimmerman. Yeah, she's been around since Hanna-Barbera, done the Jetsons, Smurfs. Yeah, oh, that's my girl. I love her to death.
Well, Cam, I'm glad that you brought up, the fact that you...
That I can't memorize?
No, the fact that you're an actor, and, one of the common misconceptions about voice acting versus traditional acting is that there's actually a difference where I've spoken to so many different voice actors before, and they tell me it's just acting. It is acting. It's not. There's no difference. You're just doing it in a booth, or you're not. There's no physical sense of being on screen.
Au contraire. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's a different.
Oh, then I would love to hear this from you,
agree.
because I've always heard that it's there's some differences, but it's just acting. So I would love to hear your perspective on this.
Well, even though there is visuals, I've kind of thought that when we or I do lines, it's almost a little bit like theater for the blind.
Yeah.
You have to kick it up and still sound sincere and real, but I'm not, if I were on camera or doing a play, I'm not delivering the line with the magic energy that we bring to the world of fantasy. And I mean, and hopefully you guys won't really notice a difference, but we have to pump it up in a slightly higher way. Do you guys agree, disagree?
Psychotic, yes. It is a mental switch. It is a, because, I've been around all these greats, and I mean, they have at least 20 voices ready to go. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I got some more work to do. I got some more work to do. But, working around these guys, man, yeah, when I say it is a different animal, because they're on screen, you don't have to put as much of an effort into going into a whole different person. Like, yes, you have your character, but the character on screen is described as you. So you get behind a mic, or you do mocap, or you're a whole other person. You could be a monster. You could be a whatever, a giant, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you could tap into that mental of like, okay, how would this person walk? How would he sneeze? How would he, it's a whole different, it's a whole different monster, like you were saying. But I do hear at the same time as well, acting, as they said, I was in a panel literally 2 weeks ago, we had the same conversation, and they were like, we think acting is all one. And I was like, I guess so. But then you got theater too. Theater, you have to go into a different, element of your characterization too, and your memorization, because it's very broad. You have to talk out here. You have to do all this. It's theater. You know what I mean? It's people in the back. You have to hear the people in the back. So it's like, yeah, and then on screen, it's like, we're right here. We're talking.
I want to see your theater production. Octopus Man.
Welcome to my place.
Yes, it'll be 3 hours of this. To speak to what you're saying, Cam, I think of like with B.B. King, and like when you watch them play, any jazz musician or blues musician, when they're playing, there's an intimacy to every phrase, every note, that you'll see voice actors do weird crap with their body and hands because you're thinking of everything as like, and I don't even realize this until I watch some of the playback and stuff, because sometimes they'll film you for things where, like, versus mocap, where you can't do that. Just being like, yes, I need to go over there and do this. There's all these weird, you're almost conducting every word. There's a symphony.
And you also learn that physicality, even though you're not on camera, we will climb.
Yeah.
You'll see us pantomiming. If you were in the session, there's things we will do so that the musicality of what we're saying is more from your gut and not just from your head.
Yeah.
However, unlike with theater or a movie or something, that you're working out how you're going to deliver it, what the director's thing is. It cracks me up at animation and stuff where they go, okay, I don't want to give you a line reading, but try to and go, okay, you know what, TikTok, give me the line. Just give me the line reading.
I can't picture what you're thinking. It's like,
I can't,
you have the script. And
you have the script, so tell me if you want the emphasis on that syllable. I got no problem with it. Is the check going to cash? And isn't that a horrible thing to admit? But in theater, I would take a different tact, but animation, it's a group effort.
Well,
my ego is a little elsewhere, and I'm great if you know what you want me to do. Just
the funny thing is, though, that like the sensitivity to line readings, that's an American actor thing.
Is it?
Yeah, in like I don't have that, and I've had that conversation with actors who've been livid, have been like, oh, so-and-so director, and he said, just say it like this, and it makes me so angry. I'm like, why? Why? That if he has a specific need for how he needs it to sound, or she needs it to sound, let him tell you. And like I said, like in England, doing stage, like even doing plays, I had directors who were like at my drama school, but who had been directing things at like the National and at the West End, would be sort of directing a thing, and then they go, you know, here, move. I'm just going to do it. You just watch what I do. I'm going to do it, and then you just do what I do. So it's not just a line reading; it's a whole physical thing. They say that's what I'm trying to get to. So do that, or that's what I'm trying to say. And you go, okay, and like, there's a certain ego thing of thinking like, oh, if somebody says something, I can mimic it perfectly. You can't. You're always doing some version of it, but it gives you the sense of what they're trying to do, or what the part of it is that is important to them. So I don't have, like, I'm very quick to, when somebody says, I don't want to give you a line reading, saying, give me a line reading.
Yeah.
Just tell me what it is that's in your head. And if nothing else, let me give you that, so you've got that. And then I'll say, right, I have another idea, so let me do that. And then you can edit it later and decide whether you like your idea or my idea more. And sometimes I like yours, and sometimes I like theirs, and that's their choice.
There are also things when you're talking about our physicality in a session, and you know, I started this when these guys were in diapers, and it's a whole different world than, you know, back in the 80s. But I remember some of the guys that were my mentors, the guys above me, and I can't think of who this is, but I was doing a couple of radio spots with somebody, and he would stand there, and he's doing, you know, it's some fast, you know, car, or, you know, whatever thing, real rat-a-tat dialogue. And with his hands, he would punctuate while he's talking.
I do that. I do that all the time.
Do
where
you?
It's like
He
up,
goes
down, and
comma,
yeah.
exclamation point, you know, whatever the symbols are.
I think it's a form of like synesthesia, where you like see colors. I see things in different, with words, there's shapes and there's sounds, and my notes on my scripts look that shit insane. Because if you look at them, it's like there's a line and a circle and a smiley face and an up, and it's just, that's my way of communicating with myself. But yeah, I feel that, where it's like you're conducting this symphony of insanity.
It's that mental. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's why when someone gives me a line read, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I don't have to go through that.
And you also, we learned from the people who came, you know, before us. There was one, I think it was Welker, I think it was Frank, who would, if it was a big line or you had to get through, and this is before you got to cut and paste every, you know, cut. Listen, there's a word from the ancient days. But he would talk, if it was a big part, this is to open his chest. He'd perform like this. Wow. And it gives you, and I found it to be a miracle when you got a bunch of stuff. It just opens up your rib cage, and you can get more air, you know, when your hands are up over your head.
This has been awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sharing your perspective and you know, giving insight to the physicality and what it takes to be into the booth. Because, you know, I personally appreciate that. I do voice acting as well, and again, just hearing all of your stories and sharing this gives me some new insight and new perspective. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'd love to take this opportunity. We have about 20 minutes left. If we can open up to the audience and ask some questions. So please step on up to the microphone, and we'll get through as many as we can. And again, if you don't get a chance to ask your question, you can ask them down at the tables. Please, one question per person. So hi, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, my name is Zoe, and kind of related to the last question that you guys were answering is, what is the like weirdest thing you guys personally have had to do for your video game role to like get in character? Like an example of like running a lap to like sound out of breath, like that kind of thing.
Besides the world where we connect, I also do a thing called looping, which is whenever you watch a film or a television show, anything you hear, whether it's the crowd in the background or getting your throat slit by a vampire, the people on stage usually can't do it as quickly or as well as those of us that do it like a machine. And it's like, okay, how much blood? Is it a dry kill? Or the police radio in the car, or the hospital pages, all this stuff. The weirdest one I had to do was on True Blood, where the character is being drowned. So they literally had a huge tub of water. They've wrapped the mic in like baggies or whatever, and it's on a thing, and they've hung it into the tub of water. I strip from, the waist up. They dunk my head
We
underwater.
have the footage, actually.
Oh, do you?
And here it is now.
Cut to the footage.
Can we play that? Can we play that, please?
Go to the clip, please.
So I'm literally underwater going. I didn't get hazard pay, though.
Did you know going in? Did they say, like, so we're going to partially waterboard or drown you? Like,
Sign that whole waiver and everything.
just like Terry Douglas or Barbara Harris was like, put your head in the tub.
And make out scenes for any of you who've done looping. It's like your hand, fresh.
What was the question? Weirdest thing. Oh, I feel like one of the weirdest, because we did, so in mocap, there's motion capture, what you see, on the actual stage, and then sometimes we were Kratos and Atreus in God of War we weren't the final guys, that was Sonny and Chris, but we did stuff together as father and son, which is how we met. And at some point, I had to transform.
I'm sorry, back up?
So he was my daddy, and I was his wee boy, but I had to transform into a bear at some point.
Was it bear or wolf?
No, it was a
was
bear.
a bear.
There was a wolf.
Right.
At some
No,
point, but
that's right. You turned into a bear.
But the bear was
Yeah.
hilarious because they had to take my body size, and suddenly, in the middle of the take, I'd turn into this giant bear and then roll into, it was just, I don't know how to describe it other than going from a little child model to a bear, and then they'd be like, all right, cut, and then I could see my model walking around and be like, hey, good job, everyone.
Yeah, and the
It's
bear
like
was
a
like 9 feet tall.
15-foot bear, and then the whole day I'd be like, make me the bear, make me the bear. So I could just move things, and I could pick up an elk and throw it around, and I mean, that wasn't weird so much as it was just like, this is really fun.
It's fun.
Because you also never know with mocap. Sometimes they'll use the placeholder models, and you'll be like, "Oh, that's a big weird character. Can I please make him dance?" That's.
We had a big old Venom. And
You got to do Venom?
Yeah.
Oh my
well,
God.
not me personally, but no, one of our guys was doing the stunts for Venom. He would do the most craziest things on set as the Venom. He was like, "Okay, guys, look, I'm the monster now. Now look." He would just do the craziest.
You're a puppeteer. You can do anything and be like,
the
"You
craziest and funniest thing he'll do. So yeah, no, I can relate to that.
That's so much fun.
No, but what I remember about that was that then my memory is that then Kratos ends up having to fight the bear, but he needs to fight him without hurting him because it's Atreus. And so I don't remember whether it was that day or the next day. They had a stunt guy come in who I'm 6'4", 6'5". This
Big
guy was
Joe?
6'7" or 6'8" and 350 pounds. And they said no, he's a stunt guy. But then he had to run at me, and I had to catch him as Kratos and then spin him or something around. And it turned out he was just a big guy. He wasn't a stunt guy, and so turns out throwing him didn't end well for the poor guy. And so he did one thing, and then the next day it was back to it's just going to be AJ, and we're just going to map the bear on him.
He broke a rib.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I felt really
Damn,
bad.
you threw him that hard.
Yeah. He just went,
He's a big guy.
He was a big,
and he
yeah,
was down-
I
he
get
was
you.
down.
he
I
was
gotta put some
7
effort in
feet
this
tall.
moment.
Yeah.
That was the thing. It's one of the things people don't realize. Being a stuntman is not just being willing to get your ass kicked. It's knowing how to get your ass kicked so you don't get hurt. Yeah, exactly. And he didn't know how to go down. He didn't know how to get thrown into a whole bunch of boxes and do it in a way that didn't hurt himself. That big. So he just threw himself into them, and it was his 350 pounds plus my throwing him onto wooden crates, and he.
I'm glad you didn't throw me. Well, I guess you did the next day.
I did the next day.
Yeah, that's
but-
true.
I'm gonna show this man. I'm gonna show
Gently.
this guy.
Sorry, we're gonna talk forever about bears.
It's just another reason to choose the bear. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
Thank you for your question. I appreciate
Thank
it. All
you.
right. I know we're not going to get to the end of this line, but again,
We'll
we'll
try.
get as many as we can, and then
We'll
if you
keep
don't
it
get a
short
chance,
so
Yeah.
more of you get in.
all right, go ahead. Hi.
Okay. Hi, my name is Sky. My question is not necessarily the hardest thing about voice acting. What's a pitfall you find yourselves in a lot with voice acting? So not the hardest thing you've ever had to do, but just
Hiccups. I get hiccups. Does anyone else? If I'm doing efforts, I have to be
Hiccups,
really
sure.
careful because I'll get hiccups, and then I have to be like, I'm sorry, everyone. I have to stop and think about sad things or
Because
something.
we're on a time limit, so we have 4 hours to knock it out the session. So those hiccups take over a good 5 minutes. They're gonna get mad at you.
Yep.
Hurry the hiccups up.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, I can't. My esophagus is freaking out. Right. Yeah.
Hurry that shit up.
I'm glad someone else gets this too.
Okay.
All right, thank you for your question.
Thank you, Scott.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Jansen. Kind of a similar question, but what's a challenge that you didn't know came with voice acting?
Well, when I've given lectures and stuff like that, one of the first things I learned when I was started, and maybe you guys got some of this same stuff, we have ranges. Some of us have big, wider ranges than others. But the first thing I tell anybody who wants to pursue the animation game world is do not audition with a voice that you cannot sustain.
That's yes.
Yeah, because for 2 seconds I can go, whatever the sound is that you think is perfect, and it may be, but can you do that for 4
hours?
So you come to learn sometimes the hard way, where it's like, I can't do that anymore. Well, yeah, but we're not done. So it's tricky, but that's the first thing to help avoid problems.
Or you manage to get through that session, but you have a session later on where you're supposed to have a smooth, even voice, and you've wrecked your voice being an orc or an ogre or something.
And we also learn different, the more you do it, you learn different places within your skull and your neck and your chest. And I was on iZombie for the run of the show doing, and I found where I can do that's not involving my throat. That's involving the where you're punching. What is it? Your punching bag? What?
Your
Your uvula. Oh, is that a naughty word? Or no, uvula, right?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, you learn
She'll
to
be performing tonight, Uvula, at the new GalaxyCon.
Welcome to the stage, Uvula.
Hail to Uvia! But learning places where you can do your choices, or you say, I can't do that. And it's great when you can find different places so you can sustain some of the stuff you've chosen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hi.
Hi, my name is Tommy. This is a specific question for Cam. I know probably your most famous role in games was as Liquid Snake, so I gotta ask you, do you actually understand the Metal Gear storyline, or is it just too complicated, or whatever?
What do you understand?
Well, see, I've only played one of the games so far,
Yeah?
so like,
What was your
I mean, I have a
favorite
vague
part in
idea.
What was your favorite part in it?
I don't actually know. I haven't played through all of it yet. But like,
We're watching a master at work right now. this is incredible. It worked. It's
You
like a
getting
magic
chills?
trick.
You kinda getting chills,
Reverse
y'all?
Uno. Yeah.
Alley his own oop. It's amazing. I love that.
Sorry, I
interview
cannot
jujitsu.
help.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
Use your own weight against you, like a
Well, I was just asking because, it's infamous for being an incredibly complicated story. So, like, just someone from the inside, do you actually, like, do they have, like a meeting where everything is, like, explained and laid out? Or?
Sometimes they lay out more than any of us need, like what planet we were born on, or, backstory for days. And I hate to burst, the fantasy part of what we do, but when I auditioned for that, I mean, I am shocked that he is so popular. How am I going to say this without, okay, anyway, I'll just say it. When I auditioned for Liquid, I just used villain voice, 1-77, which of course, as you know, all great villains are British, right?
British, South African, somewhere in there, yeah.
Right, so I employed this voice because he's evil and Snake! And I'm actually shocked that the popularity, because he is just that, he's that villain. But I've never played it, so I wish I could help you. Ask David Hayter. He knows everything!
I would if I could, but thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was awesome. Hi.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I wanted to ask, how do you guys decide whether you're going to accept or reject a role?
We accept them all.
Money.
Except, does it pay?
In all honesty, like their voice acting is not the same in terms of the economies of it as like on-camera acting. I think all of us, if we had the same level of career in on-camera, financially would be in a very different place. Like you jobs are scale or maybe a little over, and so you're working. You're working every week to book enough stuff to pay your bills and to make sure you've got food on the table and stuff like that. So unless something comes in that is offensive for some reason, or something comes in and you go, I had my relationship with somebody who's involved with that, but a personal relationship is such that it's not going to be good for anybody.
Ooh, I want to hear about
Yeah,
that.
what have you done?
What did you do?
The fear in your
You
eyes.
watch yourself into that one.
Is it me?
So AJ, I've spent too much time with AJ, but no. So like
Father and son
Go on.
stories.
Thank you, Cass.
So I want to know what
hey.
this naughty thing was that you did. And can you show me how?
You're his meat
Today's the
shield.
first day I've ever seen him in pants.
This is true. I keep showing up at your window.
This just
like
got
Michael
crazy.
Myers.
It just got crazy.
But yeah, like the reality is, there will be some things, and you guys may be different, but there'll be some things where the audition comes in, and you look at it, and you go, I don't get this, or I like the amount of work I'm going to have to put into figuring out how to do this because this is not my world is not worth the time. For me, someone else is better, and they're going to get it. But in the reality, like everything we audition for almost everything we get sent, and if we get it, we do the job.
One thing I was disappointed about, and hopefully this may change as y'all grow older, I never thought there would be ageism within the business. And if you talk to, my regime, it's definitely a thing. They see my driver's license. Like with anime, all I play is old wise men. Now that's not my voice. This is my voice, and it's not an ego thing, but young people think that old people sound like this. Now I'm 66 years old, and I've been on with clients who I've never met, and I'll make reference to something that happened before they were born, and they'll go, "How old are you?" So it's been a disappointment. And if I am sent something where it says, 40 years old, I go, I'm not even gonna read on it because I'm booking. They're not letting me employ that voice unless it's a returning character. The expansion packs of the various, games where they let me use younger voices. But it's been a disappointment to have to put on a voice that they think is mine, if that makes any sense. So look, I bet you
Stop
look
showing them
forward
your
to it.
driver's license. I think that's the thing. You're just like, look here.
You gotta
It's like,
have
you
a
know
fake
it's not required for
at
the
this time.
auditions.
Yeah, you gotta have a fake. Yeah,
Right?
Just keep a fake on.
It's a compulsion you have. Look at it.
All right, thank you so much.
I don't know if we even answered the question.
I did.
Oh, you did.
How about you?
I just wanted to put my legs on you again. I want as many photos of me doing this to you, like Groucho Marx. Okay. Hi.
Hi, I'm Riley, and I was wondering what would you say is the best way for newer voice actors to find casting calls and auditions and stuff, and generally kind of find a way into the industry as a new voice actor?
Does anyone want to mention D. Bradley Baker's?
There you go.
Yeah.
Let's queue up.
D. Bradley Baker's website is the greatest thing on earth. He's just because he gets asked this so often. If you go, I think it's iwanttobeavoiceactor.com.
That's
If you
it.
look up
Yep.
D.
That's the one.
Bradley Baker, all that info's on there, and it's fantastic. But also, I think the biggest thing that people overlook is just, TikTok and Instagram is valuable if you don't seem like a crazy person. Because there are some people out there, it's like, I'm gonna do 100 voices in 3 seconds, and it's like, that's not gonna help. Because it just sounds like, but you can make a reel, make a 59-second reel, show people that you can act. Because people always think that voice acting is like, I do silly voices, but it's acting. It's real acting, and if you can make a concise reel that an agent can find on YouTube or,
Study with people who are in the industry as opposed to taking a class
Yes.
local. Seriously, even if it's on Zoom, I know it's great to be in person, and that's the ultimate. But it's just someone who's gone through it and had the rejection and the successes is going to teach you and hopefully be more straightforward and not just tell you that everything is great.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I didn't mean to take all the. I was just
Sorry.
like, well, I feel like I'm constantly asked. You must be all the time. But D. Bradley Baker's website is always my go-to. Look at his
amazing.
site. D's amazing.
It's amazing.
Just study D. Everyone study D. He's the greatest. It's like gold. It's free gold. He's just like, well, here it is. So that's my D. Don't tell him.
Hi, my name is David. My question is, what is the biggest challenge that you have faced so far in your career?
Matthew.
I want to say emotion. Tapping into like, troubled times or getting into that emotional scene where you have to bring out the waterworks. It always is a weird day, because you got to think about things you don't want to think about to get you there. And yeah.
No, yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah. Screaming and dying, I think, for sessions is one of the most challenging things. Like we said before, you don't want to wreck your voice, but also, like, they're like, all right, again. And you're like, okay, so I got 3 more hours of this. That is a physical challenge because you also don't want to hurt yourself to the point where you're going to the hospital.
And you're doing, usually it's an ABC. Each line, you're giving them multiple options, so you also learn how to finesse a line and just change it this much or change it a lot. And the death rattles and stuff will be they want a short one, a medium one, and a long one, and they choose their Goldilocks that fits the show. But there is a lot of, with the screaming and stuff, you have to pace yourself.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we got a lightning round. Quick questions, quick answers. We got less than a minute left. Here we go. Go.
Aside from the actual voice acting part of your jobs, what is like your fondest memory of a recording session? Like maybe you guys all went to a sandwich shop or something.
So I never get to record as a group. I take it personally. Every show I've done, I've been in 2 series with AJ and other things. I always am recording on my own. I did one Marvel movie, a Hulk Doctor Strange movie that we actually recorded with like 10 of us in a room. And so like Fred Tatasciore was Hulk and Liam O'Brien was Doctor Strange and there were all these people. And getting to actually spend 2 days in a room with people and like getting to watch Fred do Hulk for 2 days solid and he finishes and he's just like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, how do you do that with your voice?
And you know what, guys? I came from the era when nothing was done individually. Yeah. And the stuff you could learn from each other in the same
Being in a room
and the organic buzz of literally standing next to each other and looking at each other and ad-libbing with each other is no more. And the folks who are now directing, it's not like they took their history lessons or whatever the economy of making a game. We are so rarely together with any of the other performers. And there is, you may not hear it, but we as performers know the difference.
You feel it. You feel it when you're not in a room full of people. Because, yeah, like you're saying that eye contact and going, I'm going to riff, you're going to riff with me, like, that's huge. And, there's a show that I did called Dawn of the Croods, which is, like, it's one of my favorite memories because I was in a whole cast of, like, Cree Summer and Lorraine Newman and, like, it just... Cree
Summer, wow.
She plays my mom in 2 shows. And just getting to Great Delisle and, like, or Griffin, I don't know what name she goes by now, D. Bradley Baker, you just get to feel the energy of people. And, like, anytime you get to do that, it's magic. And I miss that terribly, yeah.
And it's why in games like motion capture and performance capture is great because you're with other people.
Yeah, you're screwing around.
Thank you. All right,
Thank you,
really
Dengar.
quickly, last 2 questions. We're out of time, but we're going to get to your questions anyway. Go.
Thank you. My name is Alex, and I just had a question on what was your guys' starting setup for voice acting that helped build that first reel? Like, what was the things that you had that made that first reel possible?
A microphone?
That resume.
You had somebody else's scripts.
Yeah.
And you would, cherry pick with your coach or the person who's making the reel. You go through stuff. And my very first coach back in the mid 80s, we messed around a little bit, and then she went, okay, this is what I'm thinking, whether it's commercial or animation or whatever. That's why they're getting paid, is to be able to zero in on us and have an idea, because we're new. We don't really know exactly what we're doing. So they will throw out stuff, and you're just making it up because you don't have any real stuff. So don't ever get weird that you don't have a real kit of your actual jobs, because everybody has to start with demo material.
And also a real producer who doesn't let you make a reel until you're ready. Because there will be people who will be like, yeah, great, come in, here, give me $1,500, I'll make you a reel. And you're not ready, and you just blow $1,500. So you need to make sure that it is, that the person who's telling you to do the reel, and sometimes it's the producer, real producers, and sometimes it's a coach or director, but don't do it until you're ready because you'll just waste money.
Listen to our demos. Go to the websites of the people who are working. Don't even waste your time on someone who isn't at a certain level. You need to shoot for the best of the best, because that's what it's going to require.
Yeah. A lot of times in their website, they'll list their setup. They'll talk about what interface they have, what DAW they use, what microphone they have. If you look on their website, usually they'll list it, so check that out.
I also, real quick addition, my first reel I recorded on a Rock Band mic taped to a paint can, and I'm with CESD, and I've been with them for 14 years now, and it was literally the crappiest mic you can possibly imagine, but the reel worked because it's what you're doing with the mic, not the mic itself. You should get a nice mic, but you don't need it at first if you're just dabbling. Anyway, sorry, we're going too long.
All right. Thank you for your
Thank
question.
you.
All right, and our final question,
Try to
really
grab
quick.
Hey, I also started with a GarageBand microphone plugged into my computer.
Hell yeah.
It's not GarageBand, Guitar Hero. Hi, I'm Gwenjamin Stacy. Nice to meet y'all. Alter ego is Nathan. I wanted to know if you guys had any creative collaboration with sound designers in the industry in your work, or if that happens much.
Whoa, I've never been asked that.
I'm just here to look pretty, okay? No, I've never been involved with helping design whatever if that's what you're saying, on top of our voices, or how to EQ it, or they're artists, and it's like, I bow unto you. You guys are great. You do your part.
Gotcha.
Guys.
Definitely have, they like to see what we think that person would sound like in this element or in that emotion, and they'll ask us, okay, well, give us a take on what you think, and then we'll do our version too. Okay. So with Miles, they've asked me, okay, what are the kids saying in New York right now? Like, what are they wearing? What's
That's
like the cool little thing in New York? So I had to call my cousins, and I was like, hey, so I got a question for you guys. What's going on in New York?
When we do show up for a thing, they will tell us if it's going to be modified. If it's like it's a computer thing, they will share, or you should ask, are you guys going to put any tricks on this, or is it just me? Because it will determine what kind of, what I will bring to it if I don't have to worry about, they're going to make it all tinny or electric sounding and stuff.
Gotcha.
All right, thank you so much for your question.
Thank you so much.
And that's been our panel. One more time, big round of applause. And now we're going to do a stage selfie, everybody. So if we don't mind standing up, we're standing right here on the edge of the stage.